And so, good evening, everybody that is on YouTube. This is Free to Heal, and we come together every week, formerly incarcerated and loved ones, trying to heal the ravages of what mass incarceration has done to all of us, as well as be better people in general. And so tonight, we've all done our check-ins, and what I would like to talk about tonight, there was a book called "The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People." And it's written by a guy named Stephen Covey. And I've done this workshop a few times. I read the book, but the things that I think that are really good that can help us. A lot of times we may know that something's that we need to correct some things, but we don't necessarily know where to start or know how to go about it. Right? We know that this needs to be fixed, but I don't really know how to fix it. But one of the things that's important is to understand what Stephen Covey says, and that's this: everything we do is about relationships. So if you go into an employment situation, you have an employment relationship. If you're a friend, you have a friendship. That's a relationship. Sibling, parents, intimate partners, all of those um, are relationships. Okay, so um, and it says, in order to be effective in anything in our lives, we have to be able to establish and maintain relationships. And I will say that the men in my family, one of the biggest concerns I have about them is they don't maintain relationships. Not even a lot of times with each other. Like, they love each other very much, but they don't spend a lot of time investing in each other in the relationship. So my brother and I are estranged, and my son said to me in the last couple of weeks, he said, that really blew up our family, because my brother and I are the last two alive of my nuclear family. And so he says, well, it just blew up the family, it just destroyed the whole thing. I said, no, 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 no. You got cousins that you grew up loving and caring about. Y'all got kids. The bloodline continues. You all just have to put in the effort to be family, right? You guys got to do that, right? So it's not that, yes, it has been estranged because my brother and I are estranged, but that didn't destroy the whole family. The bloodline still exists, but you got to put in the effort to maintain the relationship. And that means you got to be friendly to have a friend. You gotta act familial to be family. Because let me tell you something, there's nobody in this room that's blood to me, but this is my family. Why? Because they treat me like family. If I need a shoulder to cry on, I can call anybody in this room and they'll let me do that. If I needed a meal, they got my back. Thankfully, I don't need this kind of help. But if they needed to take off their earrings and put Vaseline on their face, they do that too. Yeah. Okay. So the thing of it is that, but that, why is that the case? Because they know I do that for them. They know that I would do it for them. They know that anything I could do for them, they got it. If they need it, if they want it and I could do it, they got it. Right? This is the family we have developed. Some family you're born into, and some family you choose. Right? And so I have chosen wisely the family that I have. Now, Mr. Covey also says, a key element in being able to maintain relationships stems from our perceptions. So this is the part that I really want to talk about. Each of us tends to think we see things as they are. That's what we think. That we are objective. But this is not the case. Okay? We see the world not as it is, but listen to this, but as we are. Ooh, as we are. So guess what? Translation, if you a lying, thieving, scheming son of a gun, you see lying, thieving, scheming son of a gun in every situation. You see everything you see, you look at it through that lens. Okay, so wait, where are my glasses, James? Get my purse right there real quick. Because see, James, okay, these James glasses, right? whatever it is, James see him through his glasses. Ooh, Lord, okay. And I see it. And I see it through mine. Okay. If I put on his perspective, these is his perspective. Ooh, Lord, they strong. And then, but mine is vicious too. Wait, while I'm trying to clown James about how thick his glasses are, somebody told me, "Ooh, dang, can you hear?" They went too far, if you ask me. I think they just went too far, and I think they was clowning a little bit too far. But anyway, what I'm saying is if I look through his glasses, I see one thing. If I look through mine, I see something else. That's our perspective, okay? So so that to me, we see the world not as it is, but as we are, or as we are conditioned to see it. Because sometimes kids, they learn to look at things like we've talked about here recently. Children learn are taught to hate. Children don't come into the world hating. So nobody does, right? Nobody comes in the world hating. So if they learn that, they're conditioned in a particular way to think that. When we open our mouths to describe what we see, in effect, we describe ourselves, our perceptions, and our paradigms. Now, often people talk about how they want they want a good woman or a good man. I want that. Well, the best way to have that is to be that. Is to be. I actually saw, interestingly enough, I think it was on Instagram, and it was a guy, and he said he went to a therapist, and the therapist told him to make a list of all the things that he wanted in a wife. And then also to make a list of the things that he wanted, that he felt like he needed to work on. And so, of course, the list of what he wanted in a wife, he said he had to turn the page over. He had like 30 different things he wanted in a wife. And so the therapist had him read off his list and go through his list. And then the therapist goes, so in order to get all of those things, I don't even need to read it. I don't need to see it. But in order to get all those things, become those things, and then you will attract unto you what you want to do, what you want to see on that list. So I'm always good at telling people, be what you. The law of attraction is a universal law. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you believe in, your belief system, none of that. It operates the same way. Example, the sun gonna rise in the east and set in the west. There's nothing we can do about that. That is a universal law that we don't get to change. Well, the law of attraction, which says you attract to you what you are and what you focus on, that is not negotiable. And it doesn't have a sense of humor. So if you want to run around, I'm gonna be debt free by the end of the year. I'm gonna be debt free. I ain't gonna have no debt. You clapping, and I'm doing everything. I'm not gonna have no debt at the end of the year. And at the end of the year, you're still in debt. Why? Because your choice of words was debt. What you should be saying is, I'm gonna be prosperous. I'm gonna have more than enough money come the end of the year. And then now the other thing is you got to do things to put that in motion too, to show the universe that you are aligning up. So you can't say, I'm gonna be prosperous at the end of the year and sit home and smoke blunts and eat Captain Crunch in the basement. Because it's not gonna produce nothing. It's not gonna produce nothing. Is that a piece of candy? Okay, can I have a piece of candy? Sharon is caring. Okay, he got Starburst, y'all. I want some. Well, he only got a few, so I'm glad I asked first. Look, this is how you get beat up when you was in middle school. Is you ask somebody for something, then you give away the rest of their stuff. I'm not doing. I don't want to be beat up. Got it, baby. So we're not trying to get beat up, but that was one of the ways to do it. Her a bully? She's a bully. I think he's talking about you, little lady. Anyway, so I want us to pay attention. I want somebody to talk to me about the things that they know. Somebody jump in here and talk about things that you want to see in your life, maybe that you need to work on, or things that you want to become, or things that, because these are the things that are hindering us from having that we want, or the things that we need to work on. Okay. So anybody that wants to jump in, go right ahead.
I think
okay, you're gonna have to come up so you can be, so they can hear you and they can see you as well, okay? Oh, look, your new boyfriend? Your new boyfriend?
That's my sister. No, I think the first relationship you need to really have as you get older and mature is with yourself. Because you need to learn yourself to know exactly what do you want and who do you want to be and how do you want to be presented and how you want to be treated, how you want to be appreciated to your friends, family, and everybody else. As you're growing up, you don't know all that. You're trying to be the good sister, the good daughter, the good cousin, the good friend. You don't really know what you want. So I think the best relationship is to have is with yourself first.
Never get an argument with me out of that. I'm a big proponent of that because those things become your perspective. That's the lens through which you see everything. Again, remember, it's about our perception. And it says, we see the world as we are. So if you know yourself, and then you begin to project that, once you learn yourself, you learn what you like. We've talked on here many times about the fact that people coming home, oh, I should have took this piece of candy, James. That's what I give for being greedy.
What you taking?
That's what I give for being greedy. Ah ha ha. And then stealing the man's candy, bullying them, making him give me his candy.
That's the bully right there.
And now it's a problem.
Too sweet.
No, it's stuck in the roof of my mouth.
Oh.
But listen, once we talked many times about when people come home, particularly if they've done a long time in incarceration, you got to learn from the beginning what you actually like. You don't have a bunch of choices in the penitentiary. You don't have a smorgasbord of toothpaste and chips, and you don't get that. You got what's in the catalog. You got what's in commissary and what's in the package. That's it. I done flipped through the book, and ain't a whole bunch of choices of stuff. Okay, that's what you got. So when you come home, the thing becomes, okay, what is it that I like? There isn't a lot of variety in food. So now you got to figure out, do I like soul food? Do I like seafood? Do I like Chinese food? If I like Chinese food, what kind? Okay.
The first date that anybody should go on is a date with themselves. Because that way you don't feel embarrassed. You can try things. If you don't like it, you can send it back and try something else. And you're not under the pressure of, oh man, I don't want to mess up this person, I mess up that money, I do this. The first date is be a date of yourself so you can see what it is that you like. Because we have a habit, this is any date, whether you just came home or later on, we have a habit of when we go on a date, I want to say, right, that's not in your okay.
Or you say,
hey, do you guys know how to put the camera on?
whatever you like. Whatever you like. Yeah, see, because Mr. Kane, that's what Diane gonna say the first time you take her to McDonald's.
Figured out how
You
to
gonna say,
No.
you're gonna say, what would you like? And Diane gonna go, whatever you like. Oh yeah, she does eat now. She ain't no salad eater. She ain't no salad eating chick. She gonna eat some food. But I'm just saying, she gonna go, whatever you like.
Whatever you like, and she wants whatever she like. So she's voting what y'all like.
So this is what tends to happen. Might have a representative show up.
What is your settings at?
It's the representative. We bring the representative to the
Lines right there. Hit those
right.
Oh no, that's
Wait a minute. And Mr. Whoever Cardwell is.
settings.
Oh, there you go. So we need to
Cardwell.
put on your camera and your Zoom.
I see you guys trying to get the camera straight. What I'm gonna do is just mute you for a minute
It's in
until you
your
figure it out,
settings.
okay? Oh, that was good. Okay. So again, this is about once you know who you are, then and what you like and all of that, then you can share it with somebody else. You can tell them what your expectations are. You can tell them what you want and what you need. It's very, very important that you be able to understand that and be able to verbalize it. It's not enough to just know what I want. I gotta be able to tell somebody else that I want to be in relationship with what it is that I want, even in employment. As much as you go on a job interview and they're interviewing you, you need to interview them too. Are they a fit for where you need to be? What is the philosophy of that company? What is the culture in the company? Is there room to grow? All kinds of things that you need to know whether or not that works for you. Because just because you need a job doesn't mean that every job is the best job for you. And so sometimes you may take something until you find something else. But again, just remember, you're going to interview to provide a service for a fee. Just because you've been in prison or otherwise and you're unemployed doesn't mean that you're an indentured servant and you just got to take anything. That is not what that means. Oftentimes people who come home from incarceration think, I'm just lucky to have a job. No, you may very well be, but a bad job is worse than no job. It's worse than no job because it's torturous and it's taking up space where you could have the job that you really want and the job that's actually for you. You have to be willing to not have everything perfect right away or to do without in the interest of having what actually is right for you. Okay, so yes, James says date yourself. Diane says the first relationship, the most important relationship is your relationship with and to yourself. I write that in my book, Third People Highway. You gotta have the most important relationship is with you. If you don't know you, there's no way for you to be able to explain to somebody else what you need or what you're thinking about or what your concerns are. And it may sound strange to somebody to say, I don't really know who I am. I think that would feel odd to say that. That is a thing to like, oh wow, that's kind of deep. Well, that's true. That happens a lot of times. People don't know who they are more often than we would like to admit. And I will say this too. This just reminded me that coming home from prison, more often than not, there is an identity crisis. Why? Because the person that went into prison is never the person that comes out. It's not possible. The person you were when you were in prison, it's impossible to be that person because that's an alternate universe. If you were in prison, there are people who have been in prison and they was the man or the woman in prison. When you come home, you're not that. So now who am I? I don't want to be the person that just did 10 years. I don't want to be that person anymore. I can't possibly be the person that I was 28 years ago. So who am I now? And I see your hand up and I'm going to come right to you, Mr. Kane, and let you unmute and go ahead and make your comment, sweetie. You see it? There you go.
Yeah, when I came to prison, I fit right in 28 years ago. They say heal the boy and the man appears. It took me decades to realize that it was that. I saw a lot of extremely violent things at a very young age. Like I was like 3 years old, and some of my first memories are of violence. And when you're a kid, you're not responsible for what you see, but as an adult, you're responsible to correct it. And I read that book that you're discussing, Seven Habits, like 2 or 3 times. I actually had to do a college paper on it. And it's like he talks about how we should begin with the end in mind, and how like that applies to every facet of life, like relationships, uh, what you plan to do for the day, your goals, how you communicate, all those things. You do well to apply that one principle. Begin with the end in mind. Even like in terms of relationships, uh, you and your significant other, you're on the same team. And a lot of times we have this for me. I know like when I was younger, I had this for me to win, you got to lose mentality, and I didn't realize that there's win-win. There's hey, I lose so you can win. There's lose-lose. We've all been there, you know, and
Yeah, but wish I hadn't, but I have.
you know, and it was significant in that book where they showed like one picture, but you could look at that picture and you could see the
Faces.
old woman,
Yes, or the young
or
woman.
you could,
Yeah.
and it was just what eyes are you looking at this picture through, and the beauty of it is we can change our lens at ease, at will. You can. It's like clothes. You can change your lens like you change your shoes, your sneakers. And
His glasses, my glasses,
yeah,
right?
it's beautiful.
Yes.
So
Yes, that's awesome. And thank you so much for that contribution. Something that you said it reminded me, like you said, even in relationships, look with the end in mind, right? And that is about being intentional from the beginning. It would force you to have to be intentional from the beginning about what kind of relationship it is that you want to have and what it is that you're doing. Too often, people they wake up in a relationship. They just, okay, like Diane thinks you're cute, right? Y'all flirting or whatever. Oh, he's so cute. And then you take her to McDonald's. That is so much fun. And then next thing you know, 30, 45 days later, y'all in a relationship. Y'all ain't talking about what kind of relationship, whether she wants to be married, none of you haven't had any of those conversations. And then 6 months, y'all just keep going places and doing stuff. And next thing you know, you in a full-blown relationship, but it wasn't intentional. And you wake up and you go, I don't like him. In fact, I don't even know him. Heaven forbid y'all start, having sex after that first date at McDonald's. I'm just saying, then it really gets cloudy, right? And now that the whole thought of what's going on, the focus becomes different, and you have no idea what it is that you don't really know this person, but it wasn't intentional, is my point, to be in this relationship. And every relationship needs to be intentional. We need to start out trying to figure, again, this is where you got to know yourself, right? You got to know yourself to know right now, because today I may feel like I want to be in a relationship, in a committed relationship. Tomorrow, that may change. Tomorrow, you might want to be a what?
I might want to be a floozy.
Ooh, a floozy. Well, I ain't heard that word in forever. You showing your age, James. A floozy. A floozy. Oh my, what fun, a floozy, right? Right. No, a floozy. That's a step up from a hood rat. The floozy, right? So the thing of it is, and if I change tomorrow what kind of relationship I want to be in, I need to adjust who I'm engaging with. Because what if I'm talking to somebody and I'm dating them or whatever, and we're hanging out and they really want a committed relationship with me, and I've decided I just want to be a floozy, okay, and I'm wasting their time. But if we haven't had that conversation to begin with, we haven't decided where we are, what we're doing or whatever, then neither one of us knows. And what the conversation does and the intention does is it puts on the table what it is that we're doing. It also says to me, right, what my responsibility is to you. See, because if what responsibility have I agreed to take on? Because it may be that that as just your friend or somebody that we kicking it occasionally, I don't feel responsible when your mama need to go to the doctor and you can't take her to jump in. But if we forming a committed relationship and looking to have a life together, if your mom needs to go to the doctor and you can't, I feel obligated to step in and do that and help you out if I'm available, right? There's a different level of commitment at every level of relationship. And the other thing that's really important to say, at any time you can renegotiate. Today I feel this way, tomorrow I feel something else. Well, guess what about that? Just know that whatever you agreed to at the beginning, the other party does not have to renegotiate with you. They don't have to take the renegotiation.
So then how you gonna read it?
Well, this is the thing. It may be that you have changed, but the other person has not. And because they haven't, now you may have to separate. You may have to part ways. Right. And Mr. Doyle said, you got to catch up. You can't bring it down. So this is the thing. At some point, you need to understand this is why the communication is so critical.
Hey, Angel,
Yes.
what's our cohort number again?
Oh, wait, who's that?
11.
Who's talking? I don't know. I can't see who's talking. Oh, well, okay. Anyway, so at the end of the day, it's very important to be intentional about getting into any kind of a relationship, okay? And making sure that you know yourself well enough to be able to convey that information to anybody. To try to change outward attitudes and behaviors does very little good in the long run if we fail to examine the basic paradigms from which those attitudes and behaviors flow. If we don't know where the source of what we believe and why we believe it, it's going to be very difficult to overcome it. I will give you an example for me that might help bring it home. I always felt that it was my job to do all the work in the relationship. I had to learn for myself that the reason was that was the relationship, what I believed about my relationship with my dad. And it's fine in my relationship with my dad, but not so much in relationship with men. Somebody has to be concerned about me in a relationship with an intimate partner. Somebody. And if I'm worried about him and he worried about him, ain't nobody worried about me. So that's subject to fail. Okay. So, but I had to learn the reason that I thought it was my job to do all of the work was because of the relationship I had with my dad. A lot of things start in childhood. That's why in the workbook, Hurt People Highway, I start the worksheets with the childhood. Who was the first person you loved? Did they love you back? Do you feel like they loved you back? Because again, not did they. Do you feel like they loved you back? That's going to cause you to think different things about yourself. That's going to cause you to function a certain way, okay? Because of what you believe is the situation. So how do we get the thoughts that we have? How did we develop them? They may have been developed over time through a series of events, but we need to know what that is so that if there's something, some underlying trauma or something that needs to be uprooted, we got to know where it started. We got to know which root to pull up. We can't just go pulling up everything because it might be the good fruit, the roots of the good tree. Okay. So what we have to do is figure out what it is that that we actually believe and why. And that is going to give us the best chance we have to shift what we believe in our perspective. Because shifting, particularly perspectives and beliefs that we've held for a long period of time, are very difficult to uproot. Very difficult. If we've been believing something about ourselves since we was kids, it's hard to uproot it on a dime. And it takes a minute to overcome it. So we have to be careful what we think, but we need to know why we think what we think. Okay. So remember that. What you are shows so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear what you say. You hear me? What you are shouts so loudly in my ears, I can't hear what you say. Because what you are is what you are, right? And I see somebody sent me a chat, and I'm gonna say you. So what is that saying to somebody, right? That is saying anything about you. What you are is going to tell me. You can walk into a room and you can, I'll give you a prime example, right? You can walk into a room and you could put on a collar like you in the clergy, and you can look pious and everything, but a person with real instinct, and I say this in this particular group of people because people who've been incarcerated have to develop instinct for sure, and you'll smell it. It don't matter what they say, you'll be like, I don't know, he look okay, but some about him just, something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Some-
That makeup got on that outfit got was real cute.
Okay, but
real nice, but something ain't right.
something ain't right. I'm not feeling something, they don't match, right? So again, who you are is screaming so loud. I can't hear what you say. Forget what you say. What do you do? I'm not worried about what you say. I'm more concerned about watching what you do. I need to be concerned about what are you doing? How are you treating me? You tell me you love me, but you beat me upside my head when I don't have your dinner ready. That don't match. You say that we're friends, but every time I call you, I'm there for you, but then when I need you, you never answer my calls. Yeah, I gotta look twice for you. I gotta find somebody else because you're not available. You say we family, but you treat people out in the street better than you treat me. So again, what you are is what's the most important part of this conversation. Who are you? Who are you? If you don't have a real good answer in your mind, and you don't really feel like you can answer that question, then you need to be thinking about it. You can ask me who I am. I am a child of the Most High. I am integrity in a body. I'm gonna do that even if it kill me. Even if you hate me for it. I tell y'all all the time, the thing I get the most hate for is telling the truth. They get mad because I just tell it like it is. I just tell it like it is. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the truth. They want you. It's also why I don't have a lot of female friends. Because the females, they want you to just go along with whatever they say. No, I'm not doing that. If you mad with her, if she mad with her, she want me to be mad with her. I'm not doing that. Even as a little kid, that wasn't me. I was like, what? I'm not mad with her. We don't have no, we're going to play Barbies. Because I'm not mad with her.
I like her jack ball. I'm going to
Okay, she got the good jacks. Okay, yeah, the big one. Yeah, I like that one. We're gonna play. Okay, so we're going to go play together because I'm not mad at her. Now, if she do something to me, that's something different, and that's what I'm responsible for. But these are the things that help to make you an effective person. This is about being highly effective in your life. This is not about you being who you think somebody else wants you to be. This is how you become effective in your life. This is how you begin to live authentically, because you actually know who you are. You're willing to express it, and you're willing to be what you want to receive. I talk to people a lot about relationships, and they can tell you very distinctly what they want from somebody in a relationship. But when you start asking them, what do you want to give in a relationship? What do you want to give to your partner? What do you want your partner to receive from you? How do you want to show up? All of these things are questions you need to ask yourself so that, again, you can become those things so that you can attract the person who is good enough to have it. I had a guy tell me at Solano that, he was really broken, and the girl he was seeing was broken, and he wanted to know advice on how, when he gets out, he can make the relationship work. And I told him to run, because the bottom line is, two broken people, when you get out of prison, you're not gonna have time to be trying to fix make a relationship with another broken person work. I told him, I said, but you're so broken that you attracted a broken woman from the other side of the wall. He didn't attract a whole healthy woman. He told me he attracted a woman that was really broken. So he recognized from the self-help groups how broken he is. So that means that all that brokenness attracted, even, just think about that, from beyond the prison walls. He was able to attract another broken person. But if he were whole and healthy, he could attract that from the other side of the wall too. Just know it's not mutual. It doesn't just work in a negative way. It works in a positive way as well. Okay, you can attract those good things that you are, and that if you're that, it'll show up. It'll show up. It's there. It's on the road. It's already there waiting on you. Okay, because this is what the law of attraction does in the universe. Okay, and because we have a fair amount of people that will need to check out, I'm going to start checkouts right now. I'm going to give everybody, I'm going to go around. Anybody got, as I come to you, your comments, anything you want to say about the discussion or whatever, because we got quite a few people, and I know some folks got to go at 7. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Otis. We didn't get to have you check in, but you can certainly check out for us.
Well, Noreen, you nailed it right on the head about everything. You got to really know who you are and the person you're with at all times. Because if you don't tell the truth and you don't know who you are, how can you have a relationship?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right.
I'll see you next week.
All righty. So we've got Mr. Harry. If you can unmute and tell us any of your thoughts on the topic, and there you go.
Yes, yeah, your topic was pretty deep, pretty heavy. And I'm glad you kind of brought relationships into the conversation, because being incarcerated for pretty close to 30 years, I came out high expectations, I got, things that I'm reaching for, right? What I'm expecting, what I should do, right?
Yes.
And I ran into a couple of ladies out here, and like I said, I was being transparent. I laid it all on the table, and it didn't seem to resonate with them, right? For some reason, their true colors came out, and it's like, yeah, I started backpedal a little bit. I was like, okay, we're heading in 2 different directions here, right? But I didn't really like take too much. I played my cards close to my chest. Like, it didn't really show too much of a poker face, but you know what? I said, okay, but I still respected them, because they were already dead set on who they were, right? I didn't figure out really what I was doing or what I was trying to accomplish by, reaching out and finding that female companionship, right? And it seemed that, like somebody had told me, another female friend told me, Harry, you need to start reaching for the low hanging fruit. He says, you're better than that. Go a little higher, right? And I said,
What's your
"You know what?
intention, Mr. Harry? Look, because listen, there's nothing wrong with the low hanging fruit either. There's nothing wrong with you dealing with the low hanging fruit, as long as you know that's what you're doing, and you don't put
Right,
expectations on the low hanging
right.
fruit that they're gonna be the top shelf.
Well,
Right?
exactly. And you know what? And that's totally true, because you know what? I kind of pushed that thought aside. I didn't let that rent space in my head. I just said, you know what? No, that's not who I am. Right? Respect is respect. But you know what? We ended just as friends, and I just moved on. I'm headed in a totally different direction. And I have to stay that way. Like you said, stay true to yourself, and I'm gonna continue to stay true to me. And you know, when the right one comes along, I'll know it's she's the one.
Say
And
it,
that's
say it
who
again. Say it for the
and
peanut gallery way in the back, baby, because that's the truth. It's gonna come. You know why?
exactly.
Because you're ready for it.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
ready for you.
Yeah, and there's no questioning that, you know, just patience. You know, we was patient for so long, and you know, God's good, God's great, and God takes care of everything, right? And
Mhm.
just stay focused. You know, just you know, stay in the framework, right? And everything will work itself out. So, but
I love it.
I love it, and thank you for letting me share. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. It absolutely. This is what it's for. And your testimony will become somebody's survival guide. Okay. So don't worry about that. Mr. Rufus, are you at a place right now where you can give us your comments and your words of wisdom?
Yeah. Um, like they said, Noreen, what you said, you covered everything. This top, like Harry said, this topic is super heavy, super duper heavy. And one thing you said about perception, and what I learned, that perception is reality, because it's that person's perception. So you have to, if that's their perception and it's not, really reality, you have to deal with them under that perception until they can
That's
come
right.
around.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I'm not, but their perception might be, what it really is, and yours might be wrong.
How
So
about
you
that?
never know.
How about that?
So I like that idea. I like that idea. And second of all, when you said uh, I can't, you said I can't hear you because your actions are.
Yeah,
Whew,
yeah,
that's a
yeah. That
lot. That's a lot.
who you are shouts so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear what you say. So
Right.
who you
And that,
are, like
yeah.
all your actions, that's telling the whole story. I can't
Right.
even
And
hear
see,
that stuff you talking. Talk is
right.
cheap and coffee $5 a pop at Starbucks. Okay, so hey,
Right. And
right?
see,
Yes,
when it's sayings like that, or truths like that when I was in prison, that resonates so well with me, that I try to live that. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And
uh-huh.
because that's that's a truth. That's a real truth. And you show people who you are by how you behave. And if that's who if that's who you say you are, or if that's what you say you want to do, then you need to do that.
It needs
You
to
need to
show
do
up.
that.
Your behavior needs to back up that talk,
Yeah, absolutely.
off that
So
walk.
this was super deep. It's a lot of stuff that I can say and that I want to say, but you said so much that my mind is all over the place. I
Awesome.
don't know where to dive in it yet right
But that's
now.
why,
But
having read that book, why I felt actually there's a two-part session, a part two of the session for this book, because it really was a book that was just that good. It really was, and it was just that deep. And so these are the kinds of things I like to read because I in my 20s I realized it's an inside job. And if I want to have a healthy, happy life, I got to start inside of me. I can't expect the world to generate that and lay it at my feet. I got to be that to myself in order
right.
to have it. And so I'm
Thank
constantly
you.
reading things like that to keep
Yeah,
me reminded of this. And this was some years ago.
right.
So, but thank you. Always, you notice I said, give us your words of wisdom because you always
Uh,
have good things to say.
pressure.
Nah. You are who you are, baby.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Mr. Jason, can you give us
Yes,
your thoughts?
every relationship needs boundaries and structure, and you got to know what you're doing.
Woo, you ain't never lied. They need some boundaries,
Yep.
right? If
We've
any,
got-
because you know what that is? That's order.
Well, there's plenty of people that will take as much as they can from you or treat you poorly or take advantage. And you got to keep that hard wall set from the beginning. And then people show you who they are over time.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, let me just tell y'all, for y'all that don't know. Checkout is always my favorite time of any group. Why? Because people tend to be quiet. In a group dynamic, you're always going to have more people, some people who talk more than others and are more comfortable talking. But then in checkout, oh, I get the best gems. And that was one of them. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Um, Mr. Kane, let's have you check out any final comments from you, my dear.
Yeah, it's like I've been forgiven for a lot in the past, and who would I be if I didn't forgive someone that I claim to love? And expectations and boundaries and parameters, all that aside, if it's devoid of love, if it's like I read this book one time where it talks about um, men want respect and women want to feel loved, and when a man's not helping a woman feel loved, she doesn't respect him, and it starts this crazy cycle going on, and we're human beings, not human doings, and so like
Oh, I like your
I'm,
boyfriend died. I like your new boyfriend Miss died. Oh, I like him.
I'm
He's smart.
you know and like one of the epiphanies that I had in prison was like in prison for decades, and even as a young man, I was never coming from a kind place. So to be kind
Mm.
to to somebody else, to get to know what they like, what they don't like, and want to give it to them. That is what relationship is. That's being intentional. You're not just walking blind through life like a blind man fumbling in the dark. Now I know. I know what you need. I know how to give it to you. And those
Because I
types
took
of
the time to
things.
listen.
Yes, active listening.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So you know,
Yes, it's incredible. I wanna exchange book lists. Because I
yes,
love a good read. I love a good read. Okay.
yes, me too. Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely. This has been wonderful. I'm glad you joined us today. You gained so
Thank
much. You
you.
got a girlfriend. You got a couple admirers. You got a book pal. Oh, you came up tonight, Mr. Paul. I'm just saying, you came up. Okay, Mr.
I
Car,
feel lucky.
Mr. Carwell, how you doing? Unmute for us.
Can you hear me now, Noreen? Noreen?
Yep, I sure can.
Oh, okay. Do you remember me from Folsom?
I remember your face.
I was Lindquist's clerk.
And you're home.
Yeah, I got
I
out
do
2 weeks.
remember. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
I was one of the ones that always helped set up and pass out all the stuff. Yeah, I was Lindquist's clerk. I got out 2 weeks ago.
Hello, were you gone?
25 years.
Oh gosh, so did you leave Rocha? Did you leave Rocha in charge?
Rocha's still there. I made him lead clerk.
He got the library. He holding it down for you.
Yeah. It
Miss
was.
Lindquist is leaving.
Oh, I did not know that.
She's
Yeah,
leaving. She got a job. She starts her new job the 17th of June. She's not even going to be with CDCR anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh my God, I knew you look familiar.
yeah, I just barely got hooked up with the Zoom account, and they gave me a list of the classes, and I seen your name. I'm like, Noreen. I go, I know Noreen. So I apologize for jumping in late, but there was no signal in this area. I'm out here in South Central right now. And yeah, so I came in 30, 40 minutes late. I missed the beginning of the topic, but one thing I can tell you is, I'm married. You know, I I paroled married, so everything as far as relationships, I'm dealing with it all. And one important thing that I could give advice to anybody that's listening, and my wife didn't understand this, but when I explained it to her, she actually thanked me for it. So I have like a set of cosmetics at my wife's house. She's like 20 minutes from here, but I do not keep nothing in the restroom because she has her daughter lives with her, and her daughter's full grown. She's an adult, and my wife said, like, hey, why don't you put your stuff in the restroom? And I'm like, no, that sends a bad message. I go, that sends a message that I'm here and I'm inserting myself into this household. I go, I'll keep my stuff in my cosmetic bag. I'll put it up in your closet. Let her get used to seeing me around. I go, how do you think she's going to feel? She just comes in one morning, sees man's toothbrush, man's deodorant, man's this, man. I said, it's just been you and her for a long time. I've known the daughter since she was 5 years old. She's 18 now, but still, you
Yeah.
do not want to cross boundaries. And I won't even go into to my wife's room with her there. I just hang out in the living room, and I you know, so you got to kind of baby step it. And when I explained this to my wife, she actually thanked me because she had never even considered how that could look. Because I told her it's not about me and you. We're good.
Yeah.
It's about the daughter. I do not want to make somebody feel uncomfortable in their own household. I
Right.
go, yeah, there will be a time where, yeah, my cosmetics will be in the restroom, but now's not the time.
But you don't have to rush it.
Yeah, no, there's not. And honestly, the transitional home is the best route. I think anybody coming out of prison going straight into a relationship, it's gonna fail.
Remember, we
Because
talked about that.
yes, even with my own wife, sometimes having dinner with her, she's still, I mean, I've known her since I was 13 years old, but I've been gone for 25 years. That's that's a shock. So even in an own marriage with somebody you're familiar with, you still have to baby step it and don't just insert yourself into your significant other's household because that's selfish on your part. You have to be considerate of all parties and just be calm. There will be a day where your cosmetics are there in the restroom, but when that time comes, you'll cross that bridge when you get there.
I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I want I gotta digress for a minute because I need to tell you that you all at in Folsom requested that I apply for this grant that came from the canteen fund so that I can expand to an advanced class up there and do a bigger beginners class. And I got the grant
You know,
from
it helped. That chrono for the class I had got like 2 weeks before I went to board. And when I went to board, keep in mind, I have no history of domestic violence, no history of toxic relationship, but any questions involving relationship is fair game because guys are locked up 25, 30 years, they're coming out. And if they don't know how to deal with this stuff, they're going to come back. And so the board, they jumped on me on relationship questions, and I got through it. And you know, they even asked me, you know, what I learned in your class, and I kind of explained, you know, that hey, well, the relationship is two people. It's not just her, it's not just me. It's both of us. And I kind of had to define what the relationship is, not only from my part, from her part as well. That we both have expectations that we need to meet with each other, you know, and yeah, it's fair game in there. So the guys in prison, they do need to learn this because you know it's like you said in prison you're in survival mode. You're not in compassion. You're not in loving. You're in survival mode. So you really have to retrain your brain to be considerate of a woman's feelings. And when you're dealing with a woman, you're not dealing with another man. You're not like, hey, check this out, bro. You know you. Sometimes I do more I do more listening than talking.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. So I'll probably try to come see you sometime soon. I gotta
Uh,
go to Philadelphia for a funeral, but when I come back, I'll probably come try to look you up. Okay.
I'm right here on 54 in the back house.
Okay.
All right.
I will definitely come look you up. It's so wonderful. And what's your first name?
James.
James. Okay. Wonderful. I'm just so, and welcome home, sweetheart. Welcome home here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, so let me see. So we did Paul Rufus. What about Harry? I think we did his. Okay, so now let's do the folks in the room here. Okay. Hi, Miss Tony. Wait, look, we got Miss Tony here. Hey, honey. How you doing?
Hey, better
And
late than never.
how's the grandbaby?
She's good.
She's good. That's good. I miss you.
I miss you too. I had multiple events going on.
Yeah, that's the way it is sometimes. Did you
Yeah.
hear enough of the conversation to have any comments? Anything you wanted to say while I got you?
No,
Okay.
no, I think everything was said, everything was touched upon based on what I was able to hear. You know, a lot of good material that was mirrored back towards the conversation. So no, I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
All right, sweetie. See you soon, okay?
Okay.
All right. Sir,
Now,
any final comments?
everything that was touched upon. New guys that just came home, welcome home. Old guys home, welcome home. I've been out since 2020. I did 26 and a half years. And the greatest thing that I enjoyed was taking my shoes off and walking in the sand next to the water. I want you to date yourself and enjoy who you are and discovering the new you at home and enjoy.
Awesome sauce. Mr. Ben, any final comments from you?
James, nice to hear you. You know, really a lot of time. I know how you feel it, but you have to be grateful we got to give the opportunity to be who a new. Okay?
Awesome.
God bless you. Okay?
All right. Mr. DJ. Okay. Understood. Enough. Mhm.
Sometimes we try to do things that we should just do and pray that it will come. And that's all.
Wonderful. Ms. Burt.
Welcome home, everyone. And I enjoyed the topic this evening. Good night.
Awesome. Mr. Davion.
Welcome home, everyone. One thing I'm learning is you gotta have your own space from time to time in any relationship. You gotta take yourself out sometime. Like you said, go on the beach. If you live with somebody, sometimes go get a room and just chill to yourself sometime. Get yourself time. You know what I mean? You gotta get it because at the end of the day, I need myself back from time to time. And go on myself, get my thoughts together and come back up when I'm ready. Not when I'm being forced to. So give yourself time.
Awesome. I enjoyed the conversation tonight and welcome home, everyone. Thank you. I'm full tonight. I'm full. You guys, you know, I prayed before coming tonight that we would have a good discussion, a powerful discussion, and I can tell from the feedback that we have had just that. When y'all tell me it was a deep conversation, that means a lot. And then Carwell, I can't even tell you how it just blows my mind that you're here, because last week I had this amazing conversation based on you guys asking me to apply for that grant. So many things have come from that. I'm not even gonna go back through it again because I think I went through it in our check-ins, but I'm just so happy that you're home, and I'm humbled that something that you learned in my group helped you to get past the board to get home. And I'm full. Mr. Kane, you were a joy. You were an absolute joy. You added a lot to this discussion, as all of you have, and I'm just so grateful. So this has been another great session of Free to Heal. We come together every Tuesday from 6 to 8. We know some people have to leave at 7, so we try to be closer to 7:30ish. But we come together because we're trying to heal. You can check us out on YouTube, all social media sites. Leave us comments. If you have a topic you want to discuss, let us know, and we'll do it, because Free to Heal is here for all of us to heal. And we thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week. Okay? See you guys. See y'all later.
Thank you. Thank you, Noreen.
All righty. Absolutely. Oh my gosh.